It definitely needed some love.
We didn't know if we were going to completely demolish the structure that was here and build something fresh. We didn't know what we were going to do with it.
All of us marveled at the transformation our team made on the house. We made a ton of progress today and are so grateful that it went very well. Next Step Restoration Ministries flew all the way to the outskirts of Austin, Texas to help restore this house to become a peaceful retreat for underserved families.
Okay, today we've got a huge project. We are cutting off about 4 feet of a roof because it's too long and it's too short. I'm a little nervous about that. You've got people working on a deck above a place where you've got them working below in the canyon, and so we have to make sure that we don't tumble rocks over on top of the people working in the canyon.
In this episode of Restoration on the River, we will be showing you days 2 and 3 of this massive project. And by the end, we will have laid some serious groundwork for this project's progress, including dangerous work on the cliff and cutting off an entire section of the roof. Throughout this series, we will be taking you on the journey of how this house made its next step to completion, all the challenges we faced, and the incredible things that God did through this project. This is Restoration on the River. Our team had a great start to this project the previous day, and we woke up the next morning energized to continue work on the house.
Okay, today, great start to the morning, bacon, of course, and then we had our quick devotional. One of the things that we talked about is that 2 is better than 1. We really talked about pairing up with people and how we can be much more productive when we have 2 of us together.
We had a general game plan of what was going to happen today. However, when we arrived at the job site, our plans screeched to a halt.
We forgot the keys to the trailer. So all of our tools are in the trailer. We've got 20 people ready to do some work, and we have no tools. So it's about 20-minute turnaround to go get the keys. I've got to hop in the van to go do that. I don't even know what's going to happen when I'm gone. But when I came back, Kevin has always got something going on in his head. He says, hey, I've got rocks, I've got cement, I've got mortar. Let's build a wall. And so he grabs everybody, puts them together, shows them how to stack rocks together and how to mix up mortar and put the rocks together and build a wall. And then he just said, hey guys, you do what you want to, gave him a little bit of artistic license. And the next thing you know, we have this beautiful rock wall that they're gonna turn into a flower bed.
The night before, our team was joined by the Meckley family, who along with others, helped start to build the rock planter. This rock structure really added a nice visual touch to the front yard of the property. We utilized a lot of the rocks pulled out yesterday from the ground for the planter. Later in the day, we also poured concrete for a flagpole and put rocks around it. When KC got back with the keys to the trailer, the rest of our group was finally able to start working on the ledger boards for the house. We used massive 2x12 boards to frame the base of the house, firing up our generator to cut the boards with our chop saw. With how heavy they were, it required multiple sets of hands to hold the boards up to the house, while another person screwed them into place. Once installed, we came back through with a piece of metal called a drip edge. This ensures that no water will be sitting on top of the boards and causing any rot to happen in the future. The ledger board's purpose is to provide a solid attachment location for stairs, a deck, or anything else needed to be attached to the base of the house. Alright, so as we were working on those projects, a few of us, including KC, had a big project on our minds that we really needed to get started on.
Now we've got to get down to business on some other things. We've got a huge project where we are cutting off about 4 feet of a roof because it's just the way it was originally made. It's too long and it's too short. So we start cutting it with a reciprocating saw, and Ace, he's up on a ladder cutting this 20-foot long run of 4 galvanized metal roof that had been put up year after year after year. And we had to think seriously about safety with this, because as we start cutting through it, of course, this has the potential to fall down. And so we set up a lot of different safety things to keep that straight. I'm a little nervous about that.
As Ace cut more and more, and we got closer and closer to letting the roof section down to the ground, the suspense just kept building. Some of us were worried about the safety implications, while others were confident that the roof section would be set down safely. And when Casey said it was go time, our entire team stopped what they were doing to watch arguably the biggest moment of the day.
Yeah!
That was so anticlimactic.
We overdid it. We big time overdid it.
Jill, on a scale of 1 to 10, how did that go?
24.
Nice.
But safety is key. So we want to protect everybody. It went great. Everybody did a great job. We worked as a team. We even recognize how 2 are better than 1 and 20 is better than 2. It was an awesome project.
With our team having finished the roof sections, we braked for lunch, eating at the job site. We filled our bellies and continued with the workday. In episode 1, we showed the massive amount of boards that we pulled out from the house. Today, our team got to work pulling all the nails and screws out from them. The dump trailer was getting very full, and we didn't want to add anything unnecessary to it. Most of the boards would still actually be usable on the house if they didn't have nails sticking out of them. There were a lot of screws and nails to be pulled, and our team continued to work on them through the next few days. This was in contrast to the next project, however, which involved a lot of care and safety management.
So this house has some amazing views overlooking the Pedernales River. There's a lot of safety concerns. Even just standing on the deck, the old railings are rotten, so we've got to pull the old railings off and put new railings on. But how do you keep everybody safe while you're doing that? Also, you can walk down through this canyon to get to a lower area closer to the river, which is really beautiful. There's some grassy area. We envision an outdoor kitchen down there someday, a big fire pit, a seating area, but to get there, it's pretty treacherous. It's an ugly path, lots of loose rock, lots of overgrown grass and weeds. We've got to get that all cleared out, and it's going to take a ton of manpower. You've got people working on a deck above a place where you've got them working below, and so we have to make sure that we don't tumble rocks over on top of the people working in the canyon. So lots of challenges with that.
These projects were arguably more dangerous than letting down the roof earlier today. Up top, Casey led the charge in safely removing the fence posts and panels from the deck, with Riley and Dylan carrying the fence panels out into the yard. On the bottom of the cliff, Julius and Ace manned the clearing. It's already a beautiful spot on the base of the cliff, and what our team did to clear it out made it even more safe and beautiful. There were massive boulders to move, brush to weed whack, and a large fire pit to be constructed. Our team members had to be extremely careful walking down the cliff, as there were very sketchy stairs that led down to it, which we will be taking care of tomorrow to make it safer. We did a lot less to the inside of the house compared to yesterday. AJ finished framing the remaining windows, which we didn't have time to do yesterday. Our team worked hard, and near the end of the day, had covered a lot of ground. We packed up and headed back to the house for a wonderful dinner.
One of the unique talents that we have is some people who are already cooked in a kitchen. They're cooking the meals for us every single day. We have people assigned to clean up after our meals. Everybody's pitching in and helping out, and as they say, many hands make light work.
Our team woke up the next morning feeling a little tired, but ready to tackle the new day. Our new schedule for this project was just starting to set in. We had got a lot done yesterday, and for today, we had 2 main focuses: continuing work on the deck and below the cliff, but also working on the facelift for the front and side of the house. More on that in a bit.
Ace, how are you feeling about today?
I'm feeling ready to destroy more stuff.
Okay, so yesterday, we encountered safety concerns in working simultaneously above and below the cliff. But in addition to that, we realized something else that was a little unsafe.
There's a rock wall, so that's not mortared in, it's just dry stack, so it could crumble, it could fall. It's really attractive to walk on for youngsters, but it is not safe to walk on. We're gonna put a picket fence up in front of that, so we've gotta deal with that.
The first step for the fence was to dig holes for the posts to go into. Well, these holes gave us a whole lot of problems. No pun intended.
So we're digging these holes to put a small fence right here, but what we found is there are tons of rocks in the soil. I'm half using the shovel, half getting on my hands and knees and kind of working my hand through the dirt. It's been about probably 20 minutes and I've only gotten 8 inches down. I got to the second hole thinking, okay, well maybe it'll be different. Nope, That's our rock.
Digging continued till lunch when the last rock got pulled out. Meanwhile, our team got started on refurbishing the fence panels for the deck. Currently, the panels had old wires in them and were a bit loose, so we installed durable cattle panels, which are comprised of a thicker metal to better reinforce the panels. Our team disassembled, brushed off, cut the thick wire, and installed them onto the fence panels. Down the cliff, Julius, Ace, Fox, Riley, and Dylan began to tackle a problem we realized yesterday: walking between the house and the new campfire area. Right now, it's really sketchy to go down the cliff, and we realized that we needed to add more stairs. But we didn't have any metal stairs to install, so our team came up with a plan to build them out of rocks and concrete. We found suitable rocks to build forms for the stairs, and then we set them in the dirt securely. On top of the cliff, we mixed 80-pound bags of concrete, put them in 5-gallon buckets, and super carefully transported them to be poured. Julius and his crew made sure that the stairs were not too tall or shallow in comparison to each other, and got a few stairs completed for the day. We also utilized this time to pour concrete for the fence posts on top of the cliff. These projects are going to stretch into the next couple of days, so make sure to stay tuned to the series for the completion. It was exciting for our team to start adding a ton of difference to the front of the house compared to the demo on day one. We got our tar paper wrapped around the front using nails with cream plastic washers to secure it. This will be a moisture barrier between the house and the soon-to-be rock exterior. Next, we began to attach the lath. It's a metal sheet with tons of holes with gaps bent into it to maximize the mortar's holding strength, which follows in the install order. Not only did we attach the mortar to the front of the house, but we also got a wonderful photo opportunity. After the wet mortar is applied, we come back through with a special trowel that puts grooves into the mortar. This texture makes the stone that we will be able to install grab a hold of the house with strong adhesion. During this process, we attached windows to the front of the house and applied flashing tape as another waterproofing measure. As we neared the end of the day, we realized we didn't have enough screws to finish installing the lath on the front of the house. This is why we only did half of the wall, and we'll be finishing the installation in the next episode. Over near the deck, Brian led cutting open the side of the house, which will allow us to be able to install a sliding glass door later on. These past few days, all of these changes happened on the outside of the house, and they've amounted to a lot of progress. However, we did do one thing on the inside of the house.
So Claire, what are you doing right now?
We are writing Bible verses on the walls and on floors and everywhere around the house so that house is filled with God's presence.
We're really thankful for the grace that God has given us with this project. There's been several things along the way that really stand out. Easily just getting everybody here. We had people driving up from Houston. We had people flying from Kentucky. We had people flying from Phoenix, and everything went really, really well. One really awesome thing that happened was the first day Kevin and I went into Lowe's with my son Riley to get some materials, and we started stacking materials up. We had 3 or 4 carts worth of materials. So we're pushing these big heavy carts towards the checkout, and this man walks up to us and approaches us. And he says, "Hey, it looks like you guys are pretty busy. Do you mind if I ask what you're doing?" And so I started to share about restoration on the river. I started to share about Next Step Restoration. And he was totally interested in it. And then he said, "Hey, I work at the Pro Desk. Why don't you come up here? We'll see if we can run you through the Pro Desk and get you a discount," which he ended up doing, which was amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you, David.
Great. Well, you guys are doing a good thing. Thanks. Appreciate it. I appreciate you guys.
Kevin and I just discussed it, and this is a blessing. You know, this was a gift to just say, "Hey, I'm with you guys, and the rest of my people are with you guys," and it was a really good testimony to that.
Restoration on the River is continuing to make a ton of improvements each day of this project. Even after only 3 days, almost every aspect of the property has had some form of change. Below the cliff, going up the side of it, the deck overlooking the Pedernales River, and the exterior of the house are continuing to step closer and closer to the completion of our team's work. We are so excited to see the changes in the next few days and how much more we will be able to do with restoration on the river.
Looking at the forecast this morning, it is gonna pour. Not much opportunity for exterior stuff. Okay, so Saturday, half day, 3 teams and 3 cars for a scavenger hunt. The tasks were probably the most interesting.